Hey, I don't know what's going on right now, but YouTube's not letting me chat. I don't know if you guys see it too. I may have to back out here and restart it.
Okay.
Can you guys check the box over there?
Can I check the what?
Can you check the box over there? Because I can't see it.
Oh, you set the video to private, I think.
No, it's not private.
It says join.
No, I can't chat either.
Ah, screw. Alright, hold on. Because this happened last time I went live.
I can.
Let me see if I can fix it.
They can hear us.
Yeah, give us a second, fellas. I think we're having some difficulties here. This happened when I was at Micro Center. Somebody told me that I couldn't chat either.
No, I can chat on the YouTube. I just can't chat on the StreamYard app.
Okay, well let me log out and then log back in.
Yeah, on YouTube is fine.
Okay,
yeah, YouTube's fine.
Yeah, but I can't see it though. So.
I just have two screens open. That's all. Much simpler.
All right,
Yeah,
give me 1 second.
Yeah, because the StreamYard chat is always slower anyway, so I just look at the YouTube one and I mute it.
All right. Give me 1 second. Be right back.
Oh, hey Ray.
All right, technical difficulties. So out of it now.
There it is.
Are we good?
So what do you need besides a miracle?
Guns. Lots of guns.
What's going on, everyone? Kiodiekin back again. In today's video, we have a couple of resident experts. As you guys all know, we are releasing Return of the Pistolero. This is an updated version from the one I released last year. There have been a few modifications for it. So before I get fully into this video, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me questions as far as is sending working. The only thing I did on this particular version was I updated the software on this particular version. But as far as configs, it's exactly as it was before. You have to go in and configure it yourself. This is a IR edition. So meaning if you have a gun for IR or if you have an AE light gun, it's pretty much plug and play, ready to go. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that because I don't want to have everybody lingering around the chat asking like, "Oh, is it plug and play ready for sending?" So just want to go ahead and set that proper expectation. So with that being said, we have Arpeg Electronics. We have Ray with us tonight, and we also have Retrolizard joining us back again. Retrolizard is the U.S. official reseller for AeLightgun here in the United States. And then, of course, you guys have seen Ray here before. He is Ray. Are you the only guy for Gun for IR?
Yep, I'm the official seller for the U.S. Distribution of Gun for IR.
Perfect. So glad to have you back again. I think Retrolizard, I think his mic is muted right now.
I'm good. What's up, guys?
Okay, so we'll probably go for about a good hour and 30 minutes, and then at the end of the stream, I'll give you guys the links, which will be available through either Google Drive and then, of course, Mega. So, Retro, is there anything you want to get off your chest? Anything going on right now in the light gun community?
Not really at the moment. Nothing I really want to get off my chest yet. So we'll see how the chat goes tonight in the stream.
All right.
But Ray, your apartment is so white.
This is a new one actually, so it's more white than the last one. I'm just cleaning it. So the reason I haven't been active on YouTube is because I moved out and we got our new apartment. We finished the flooring and everything. This was a lot of work. But yeah, I'll be back active again about a week or so.
It looks great,
Perfect.
man. The apartment looks perfect.
All right, awesome. Anything you guys want to rant about really quick before I start my spiel?
I'm good. You do your thing, man.
Yeah, we're here to see the Pistolero image.
So pretty much the Pistolero image looks exactly the same as you guys have seen before. I mean, everything is pretty much the same. What happened was I had been in talks with Retrolizard for a couple of months, and we decided to experiment to see if we could make Pistolero plug and play compatible with the. Oh, let me turn my camera on over here. If we could make Pistolero compatible with the Gun for IR and the AE light gun. And so there's a lot of testing I wanted to make sure that could be done. And so you still have approximately 180 light gun games that are available to work. All of them are capable of working with either gun. And then, of course, this also supports the Dolphin bar. So if you have a Dolphin bar, AE light gun, or gun for IR, this is pretty much set up for you already. Well, you still need to do your settings for the Dolphin bar. That's a little different. Now, in regards to the sending, I updated the software, not with the last one that was released, but there was the previous one, the previous firmware and software update that has been updated as well. And the sending light gun has kind of been an interesting thing in the community because there's so many different configurations and stuff. I'll get into that a little bit later. But for the most part, this is ready to go. And we were emailing and sending the files back and forth to make sure that that we could make it compatible or plug and play compatible. So the good thing is most of these are configs. They're not set up as a controller. As you guys know, when you're making a RetroPie image, you got to reset the controllers because everybody has different drivers and stuff. So that way you can set up your controller. However, with this, it's more or less just configs. And so I had to make sure I Pi shrunk the image, see if it worked, make sure everything's saved, sent them back to Retrolizard to verify the test. All of his settings came back accurate, plug and play capable. So as far as I know right now, I have sent this image off to a couple other people. Haven't heard back yet, but I do know based upon what Retrolizard has said, because I don't have a gun for IR or AE light gun right now, but it is plug and play compatible based upon the previous videos that you guys have seen. He saved all of his configs and it's all good to go. So what's going on, Callie? So I hope you guys enjoy it. There's been a lot of work put in. And personally, when I make an image, I want it to be as simple as possible. Light guns and RetroPie is kind of difficult already making an image or making a build, but people want to just enjoy gaming. They don't want to deal with a bunch of configs and software and a whole bunch of other issues. They just want to jump in and be ready to go. And so we tried to alleviate a lot of that strain from you guys and hope you guys enjoy the image. Ray, any thoughts?
Well, actually, I sold my Pi because I was having so much trouble with it to begin with. I could only get like fighting games working. So yeah, I'm glad to see that you were able to get this done. I'm actually very impressed by this because I really couldn't. I didn't have the patience for it. I imagine a lot of other people don't as well. So for those of you who think it's like really easy to make a Pi image or make, no, it's not. Not even close. There's I'm guessing at least 2 months of work put into this just to get these light guns working properly on the Pi.
Yeah, about 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah, about 2 or 3.
We went back and forth for a while. Yeah. We were talking about it, I think, longer than we were working on it because I think we were talking about it since like maybe March, April of last year.
Right.
Yeah, I talk to you guys like every day for the last like 8 months, so I know how long it's taken for this to happen.
Yeah, and that's not including making the Supreme Ultra base. I mean, that by itself was 10 months and everything else, but it's testing and testing upon testing. So it's definitely a good thing to get going. But before we get into that, one of the biggest things that's been going on right now is there's a lot of misinformation going on, and one of the things that I love to set the record about is accuracy. And a lot of you have invested money in the Sending Light Gun, and there have been reviews out there with people saying it's easy or it's great in terms of the software. From my personal experience, the accuracy is pretty much spot on with PC. Even just plugging it in, not having to change a bunch of settings. Pi is a different story. When I plug it in a RetroPie and I use that diagram to see where the sensor is, where the mark is, it's about off to the top left of the nozzle of the barrel of the gun. That's where it is, and so you have to manually adjust that. Now, I've seen some reviews out there, but one of the things I'm really surprised I haven't seen, because people like to try to compare the Sending Light Gun to Gun for IR, Aim Track, Dolphin Bar, and also the AE Light Gun. But I want to show you guys a quick comparison between the Sending Light Gun itself. So I'm going to share my screen here. And let me see if I can minimize this. All right. So here's my screen. This is the send-in software. You guys are all familiar with this. I want you guys to take a look at it because maybe some of you haven't really put so much time and effort into it. But Retrolizard brought up a very interesting point about the send-in light gun. It has to be adjusted for daylight. It has to be adjusted for nighttime. It has to be adjusted for a number of different things. Is that correct, Lizard?
Yeah, it's a little bit more common than you would think too. I've encountered at least 10 people that have come into that issue.
Okay. So you're familiar? You're familiar with the regular PC software, right?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Pi software?
The Pi software, no. The PC software only. I never was able to get the Pi software to run. Every time I put it on an image, when I went to go load it, it would freeze.
Okay, well, all right. So you guys are all familiar with the software in terms of how it runs on PC. So let's take a look at the configurations. You guys are familiar with this on how you have your border, you have daytime, you have nighttime, you have bright sunlight, you have thin border. You also have camera exposure in here. You see all this? You guys are familiar with this, right? You have your contrast, you have your brightness, you have your exposure, you have your zoom. So do I have my sending gun on right now? In fact, no, I don't. Let me go ahead and turn it on. I want you guys to see this. I'll go ahead and turn my gun on. And this is the new software. There it is right there. All right. There's a sending light gun. I haven't moving around. I won't move it around too much because I don't want my mouse going all over the place. So when you're using the send-in light gun, you have your software settings to adjust the brightness, the daylight, and all the other settings. You have your camera, you have your exposure. However, you can see the camera in front of you, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you don't have this ability on the Pi, and I'm going to show you what the software looks like on the Pi. There's a software on the Pi right there. So if you want to adjust your calibration, your exposure rate, your brightness, your screen differentials, and everything else, you don't have a guide to look at. You don't have a diagram. You don't have a camera. You're looking at only integers and variables.
You have to do a manual input?
You have to do a manual input. This is the controlling software for the send-in light gun on the RetroPie.
What?
This is it right here. So when you're adjusting the brightness and everything on the computer, you can actually see it because everything changes according to the camera. You have all of that, right? This is on the Pi. You have to guess.
That's stupid.
You have to manually figure out what your camera exposure may be. So in between these parentheses, you have to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have your camera balance. You have enable jitter. Now, even the Supreme menu looks like this, but there is no way to have your PC software where you have a camera angle to actually look to see how your gun is affected by the variables that you're changing.
So where is the variable where you can change the light to adjust it for your brightness if the screen is too bright?
Right here. This one right this line right here. Where it says camera contrast value equals 50.
Wow.
Camera saturation value is 40.
Wow.
Camera white auto balance is 0. Camera white balance value is 4,500.
I see it. Right.
Now, in order to change this, you have to use WinSCP when you go in to do it. I mean, you could change it before you bring the software over, but you have to log into WinSCP to make these changes. It's not even as quick as on the fly as it is on PC.
What about if you network in? Can you network in and access the folder too, or no? Like,
yeah,
the old backspace or backslash RetroPie, hit enter, and then you're over your Wi-Fi into it. Can you do it that way too?
Yeah, you can now. I mean, on the Pi 3B Plus, I think it may have been different because you couldn't really access that configs folder.
Right.
But now with the Pi 4, they made changes where you can access some additional things. But yeah, you would still have to go in and actually go in and manually adjust it.
So this is more or less guesswork then.
This is guesswork. Yeah, this is all guesswork. There's nothing here. There's no interface for the Pi that says, "Hey, this is what your camera looks like." As you're using.
Right. There's no preview. There's no live preview of any sort.
Right. Exactly. So I just think that a lot of reviews, and I'm not going to say this is my personal opinion. It's just factual that there's no honest reviews on the send-in software or the send-in gun and how it relates to Pi, because this is what you have to do manually.
This gun is very disappointing on the Pi. It was. I feel like this gun was supposed to be, and it was marketed as supposed to be the game changer for the Pi. That it was going to be the Pi gun, and that's a little ridiculous. Like I said, I never got it to work, so I never even made it this far. But the fact that you're showing me this right now, and I never knew that this existed, this is a little ridiculous that you would have to do this to make adjustments to it. Half of the owners don't even. Half the owners don't even have a PC. You know, if they're using it. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry. If they're using it on an arcade 1-up, chances are the person who owns the arcade 1-up isn't going to have a PC, and if they do have a PC or a laptop, they're not going to know how to get into the RetroPie image. There's a lot of beginner people out there who have never set up a light gun before that have bought this light gun because it was said to work on the Pi, but they don't know how to set it up on the Pi.
Well, you know what? You just brought up another interesting point. So if the gun itself is really affected by daylight, darkness, and all that other stuff to a dramatic event, then how do you access those settings on the Buck Hunter or Terminator 2?
Right.
I'm not too familiar with Buck Hunter, but if anybody's in the chat, are there any particular settings where you can go in and adjust these things? Because if it's the same technology, it's affected the same way.
You mean Buck Hunter for PC? Oh, Buck Hunter for
arcade 1-up Buck Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, the arcade 1-up Buck Hunter.
All I know about the Buck Hunter and the T2 for the Sinden guns working on that is that it's coded completely different. I mean, I don't know anything about coding. I just know that it's coding different because it's not compatible with the Sinden software when you plug it into a PC. That gun does not register as a Sinden gun. It only registers as like some kind of webcam. Kong showed it. And that's where he proved it, that you can't plug that into a PC and get it to work with the Sinden software on the PC because there's a different code going on for that gun. So there has to be some kind of adjustment that they made for the 1-up to where that doesn't get affected. And if they did, they should actually release that in their actual software so that is beneficial to their customers, because that would be really beneficial to everybody. So they don't have to mess with this. So they don't have to mess with this.
Right, and my point being is, if it is a very similar software or technology, then it's still subject to the same thing as far as light and the camera exposure. But this is the software right here where you go in to adjust all your variables for it on RetroPie. That's it right there.
That's crazy.
So you have to manually guess. So
not only Keo, not only do you have to manually guess, you have to figure out where that is in the RetroPie image.
It's in the software. So when you download this software,
but I'm saying when you win SCP in, or when you log into your Pi over the network, you have to find the folder and figure out where it is in the folder, because there's multiple folders in the Pi. So the person's going to be sitting there for at least 10 or 15 minutes if they don't know where the location of this file is, just trying to find it.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that I wonder is, why isn't even the calibration set to at least 1 on default? So even to have the gun calibrated, you have to at least put in 1 here, depending on your TV. It could be 1, it could be 2. So again, my whole thing is this: if I'm holding a laser in front of me, like right now, I got my TV. I mean, not my TV, my monitor's in front of me. My accuracy for the laser is as accurate as possible. If the wall in front of me blows up or moves, I have my hand steady. I have the laser pointing in front of me. For me, if you're determining accuracy, whether it's Gunfire IR, AeLightgun, Sinden, and you have to manually start typing in numbers to tell the cursor or the mouse where to be, I don't know if that's the true definition of accuracy, if it's still based on your personal reference of accuracy.
I mean, how accurate?
Can the Sinden's calibration mode be activated on the Pi? So, pressing the down key or whatever key it was to center the cursor, and then you shoot the cursor. Is that a function on the Pi? Can that be done?
No, this is it. Everything that you're looking here you're looking at, it has to be manually done.
Oh, bloody hell. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, my god. So like even right now, if I wanted to have movement, like typically the default, you see where it says calibrate X and calibrate Y, I have to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or type in 1.2 or -1 or whatever. That determines the accuracy of the gun by me typing in this specific number.
So wait, when when you turn the calibration system on the Pi itself, and the calibration screen comes up, it doesn't allow you.
That's default. That just shows you where it shows on the screen. That is not a calibration screen. That just shows you that it's on and where the cursor is. So like when I turn it on my Pi, it always shows up on a little bit to the left and up, just a little bit. So it's
Wow.
not pinpoint accuracy. Now when I turn it on the computer, it's pinpoint accuracy using my same Samsung 4K TV.
So then the only true light guns on the market that can be calibrated or work on the Pi correctly with the calibration would be the Gun for IR and the AE gun, because the Gun for IR, you can calibrate it on PC, saves to the gun, and then that will carry over to your Pi, and it'll work.
Actually,
it'll be pretty much spot on.
Yes, we're actually adding a new calibration mode button so that you can calibrate it on the Pi without a PC.
See, that's even better.
Yeah.
Right. And see, my thing is, even when I first met Ray, when he was on Kong's channel, and this was before I even knew about the Gun for IR. You know, they were telling me about it and stuff. And I told him, I said it would, you know, because we didn't know if it would work on Pi, and of course, this was just more or less an introduction. But I said, you know, I asked him about the technology, and he said it's set up outside RetroPie, and I said that's the best way to do any light gun, because you can't count on any system, or especially RetroPie, which is a community-based project. People can type in different codes and scripts that will throw the whole system off. There's no true consistency on what RetroPie is unless you're just using the official stock version.
You know, I hate the fact too that they mentioned that it was a community-based project. No, it's not. Sinden's a company. It's not a community-based project. The closest thing that could possibly be a community-based project for a light gun would be considered possibly the Gun for IR, because you can DIY it, or you can use RPEG for Ray. You know, and if you DIY it, that becomes a community project right there, because it's a community that's building it themselves and building it up to use it.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to point that information out there, because there's been a lot of inconsistencies with reviews, and I know I really haven't done too many reviews really detailing the send-in. I've been doing a lot of testing, but this is something you guys should all know. This is actually the operation of your send-in light gun on the Pi. You're looking at it right here as opposed to this right here. So in fairness, I couldn't put the send-in light gun in a competition or the same conversation with AeLightgun or Gun for IR, just even based on the software and the calibration of it. It's really unfair, and it's misleading, because this is all manually integers. Now, again, you have your 640, what is it, 640 by 480 resolution over here on your computer software. This is the line right here to adjust your where is it? The camera resolution right here. That's how you adjust it on the Pi.
But manually.
Manually.
Wow. I mean, you kind of have to manually adjust it in the Sinden software on PC too. I mean, you have to manually enter the numbers there on the left, where you have the contrast and the brightness and the exposure. But I believe the only one you really have to adjust is the exposure, and you have to adjust it down to where you have it at the -9. That's supposed to be like the default number for it to work right. I did that, and I never had an issue with it. If it wasn't -9, it might be -7. But I did that on mine. I never had an issue. But I'm playing in my basement bunker here, so there's not a lot of light exposure down here besides the side windows I have over here in the basement. But there's not a lot of light coming in, so I never had an issue with light. Now I wonder if I take it upstairs into my living room and see how it works in my living room on my TV there, because my living room is bright, and it's not that big. It's maybe like a 20-foot by 20-foot living room, and there's a giant window there where the light comes in all day. Like even the shades don't even really block the light from coming in. So I wonder how it would work that just as a test.
Yeah, I mean, you know, regardless of how everybody, you know, gets it to work, whatever, I just wanted to point this out in case people were looking for their configurations. But with this, you can at least see the camera, and you can see all the changes that you make while you're in on the gun.
Right. JB brought up a good point too. If you've seen JB in the chat, he said that he brought up the mode button too, and it's available on the DIY and in any of Ray's gun. That mode button is awesome to have too on that gun. That's a great feature.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly point that out for those of you who have seen reviews out there, and you'll get the full honest truth here with the technical aspects to back it up. So you guys can just be aware of what's going on. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are having problems, setting it up. I know how to fully set it up going in there, but it would be a pain in the butt. The other thing I would just definitely tell you guys is that with this particular gun, I would suggest having it on its own separate image. And unfortunately, that's I wouldn't say that's a really conducive thing, because usually when you make a RetroPie image, you want everything to be on one image. Whether you have a steering wheel for racing, your light gun for light guns. I made the light gun image because I thought it was about time just to have something dedicated. But with this, even though I have the AE light gun settings, we have the AE light gun settings set up with the gun for IR. I still think that the sender would still need his own separate image. It wouldn't be combined with this because it may overwrite the settings. So just thought I'll let you guys know what's going on with that.
There's no way you can have the sending gun on like an 8,000 game image. There's no way. There's no way. No, there's not. I mean, you can, but that border is gonna be annoying.
It's difficult. It's very trying. I mean, I talked to some of the devs. It can happen. One of the suggestions were made is like when the gun setup. When you start your game, and it shows controller plugged in, like controller port, whatever. Get that little green icon at the bottom left. They can have that set up so where when the gun is detected, it automatically turns on specific borders and stuff. It can be done, but it's a whole lot of freaking coding.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's ridiculous.
It can be done, but there's a lot of coding involved. So, people don't work for free. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, that I agree with. You pay, you play. That is RPEG Electronics, motto. You pay, you get your toy. It's very simple.
Yep.
That's it.
Honestly, like they could have avoided all of it. I applaud Sinden for taking the initiative to get a shell made, produce everything, get PCBs done, then assemble in UK, so they can maintain their quality, and there's nothing wrong with that. All they have to really do is just say guaranteed to work on PC, nothing else. If it works on Pi, it's a bonus, and everyone would be fine.
Yeah.
That's all they have to do. Very, very easy. The gun itself is pretty cool. It has a pump, it has a D-pad, a lot of buttons.
Lately, now I've actually been seeing them say that it's just an added bonus for Pi. Like, no, that's not what it was originally. I've seen those comments with the sending gun from people, and it's just an added bonus. No, that's not how that worked, man.
That's not how that worked at all. Patch now, No, they started too early, and they took money with those claims. So once you take money, that's a little bit different.
But for PC, it works on PC after you're done with hours of configuration.
Yeah, the tank says you can't. The controls have to be set for gun or controller. Yeah, there is a specific way to do it. It's just difficult. There's just a lot of coding that needs to be done. But one of the things, that I have been kind of concerned about is I know when it was originally advertised that it would work for the 3B Plus. And from my understanding, there's no support for that right now. So that's kind of a concern to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen any videos of anybody using it on 3B Plus except for that original video. I think this is, I really think that the gun would work better on PC anyways, especially with an all-in-one image. It's easier to set up separate emulators that way so that the emulators don't interfere with other emulators and arcade controls. That's why I say that gun is, if you're going to use it on PC. Don't even bother with Pi. Don't even bother with the Pi. If 90% people can't get that thing running on the Pi and only 10% people can, that's a problem.
Yeah, on PC, I actually had a good experience. Like I had one just for like playing around with, and recoil worked really nicely on the USB over power. That was impressive, using a capacitor instead of a separate power cord. To my knowledge, that's the only gun that's ever done that so far. That's a very creative solution to recoil. And even with all my LEDs, like you can see, my house is all constantly tricked out with a bunch of LEDs. And I didn't have problems, but maybe because it's a dark plus light, not sunlight. I have no sunlight in this house right now. I blocked out everything.
Right.
That's why your walls are white, to bring in some kind of light.
Yeah, that's a Chinese feng shui thing. Apparently, like, you can't see your windows when you walk in your door. I don't know. It's my dad has some weird like feng shui advice about furniture arranging.
Oh, definitely. So, Ray, do you have any new projects you're working on with the Gunfly R? I mean, is there anything new people can start expecting from you in
Yep.
20?
So I'm not going to give it away yet, but thanks to JB and months of hard work, we have optimized the production experience basically. So I'm making guns a lot faster now. We have outsourced the LED production, not to China or UK or whatever, but locally right here in New York. So I do want to say a thank you to everyone who's bought a Gunfly R from us. And my friend Harrison, who's a father of two now, he just had a second baby, would also like to say a big thank you, because I pay him to make the LEDs for me, so I don't have to be sitting here, doing the repetitive work day in and day out. Yeah, he's actually a pharmacist, but because of a second child, expenses go up and needs an extra income, and his wife can help out. After pregnancy, you're going to be at home recovering for a little bit. So he wants to say a big thank you to everybody. He knows about the project and he knows what we do for a living. But to put it this way, we pay him like $45 an hour, and he's very happy with the extra income from this. So
nice.
Yeah, and so recently we've been optimizing, of course. So this is the usual GunCon 1. Everyone's familiar with this. All right, this is the classic. Everyone likes using this one. It's easy. All right, now we have in full stock GunCon 2. All right, it's the second generation with 10 buttons. You got the D-pad, coin, start, an extra pedal button here, 2 sides, and a trigger, of course. And we have a fisheye lens and wide-angle lenses for these as well. You can navigate the whole launch box with it. I did a quick video playing Street Fighter with this gun just to see if I can get a Hadouken out. If you can win a match with a gun, that's pretty funny. And then once in a while, I have some clients sending me crazy stuff, like this. Yeah, like this Ghost Quad machine gun. I'm just whipping it out at this point.
Do that again.
Yeah. All right, so this has the arcade recoil. Yeah, that's the real arcade recoil inside of this one.
Now give us a Rambo flex.
Yeah, I never actually saw that movie. The one Chinese guy in Rambo makes the gun and shoots it. It's like 3 hours later, the war's already over.
Yo, that gun is awesome. That's awesome.
That was a fun one. I had a video of my wife playing Aliens with that one. That was great.
I watched that. That was cool.
Yeah, so check that out on my YouTube if you want to have a good laugh, because there's a funny joke at the end on that one.
If you guys already don't follow RPG on YouTube, make sure you follow him too.
Definitely. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to do something a little different tonight, because normally I make like a big grand intro video and stuff for a new image and stuff, but I really wasn't in the mood. And so I was just like, you know what, screw it. I was like, let me call up Ray, let me hit up Retrolizard and see if they want to go live, and I'll do something a little different tonight. But yeah, Ray, that's pretty good. What do your prices start out as for entry-level guns?
Entry-level guns, so we standardize the price now. It's $250 for the standard GunCon. That includes the LEDs, the high-powered LEDs. You can go really close to the screen. Like, I've done tests at 2 feet, 1 feet. You can play on the big screen, 65 inches. And now, if you want to add a second gun, like you don't need a second pair of LEDs, right? Then just $200. So basically, you get a little bit of discount now, and a wide-angle lens is now included standard. So we've done optimizations. Retrolizard, Joel has tried the black LEDs, and he can tell like they're really different. The tracking is much more improved now. They're 3 times more powerful.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with exactly what Ray just said about all of that. The new high powered LEDs, they run off the 5-volt right into your USB, but they're just you can tell a difference. I can tell a big difference between the two of them. I have the original LEDs I got, or IRs that I got from you back in March on my actual arcade, and then my TV I have set up for my guns. I have the new ones on there, and I notice a difference. There's not a huge difference, but there's a difference, and you're gonna love it more.
Yeah, so I want to just clarify on these. So the way this one works is because the gun is basically a camera seeing the LEDs, right? on a big screen, that's where the difference is. On a small screen, no big deal. You're gonna be playing close anyway. Your LEDs don't need to be that powerful. But on a bigger screen, it's like a movie theater. Okay, the further away you are from the screen, the less of the screen, the less bright it's gonna see. Right, you're not gonna get the full blast of lumens. So that's why we made the new black high power LEDs to blast more light out. Then we add a fisheye lens that'll zoom out so that you can see the whole screen. Because like a movie theater, no one wants to sit in the front. Why? You don't see enough of the screen. You don't get the whole cinematic experience. Same thing with a gun. There is no gun on the market that you can stick it right up to the, 5 inches away from your screen and, expect accuracy. This just not possible. Okay. Even if you go to an arcade like Namco or something, play Time Crisis at the Dave and Buster's, they make you stand like, 7 feet away. There's a rail there. You're not supposed to cross that rail. It's the same concept. So that's what the black LEDs are for. That's what the fisheye lens is for. Everything is going to be like so much more accurate now. You guys are definitely going to love it. I guarantee you. Like we've had customers doing it on 86-inch screens. If you got that kind of money, hey, it's a really fun looking experience.
Sweet. Yeah, I would love to hook it up to my, I do a lot of gaming in surround view, which is, let's see, 265 is like 130 inches. So have you had anybody use something bigger than 140, maybe?
I've had, the most I've had is someone do like a 34-inch ultra wide and a 21:9 aspect ratio. It works just the same. It's just on MAME games, you get letterboxed anyway, so it's kind of moot point. But on like full screen games that support it, that can go that wide, it works just as well. You just have to change it in the GUI to 21:9.
All right, cool. So, Mr. Lizard, what do you have coming down the pipeline with the AeLightgun?
I got a couple cabs I'm working on. They have the colors coming out. Those are in production. They have the haptic recoil that is in production.
Right.
I'm going to have more of a physical stock in December, and then another stock coming in January for physical stock to have in. That's really it. I'm still testing it out on some more stuff. I want to test it out on Batacera myself. There was a review video that came out earlier today where the guy was testing it out on Batacera, and I just built a Batacera image for myself. So I am curious to test that gun out on it. It's not a gun-only image. It's an all-in-one. It's got like 8,500 games on it, but I threw Lightgun games on it just so I can throw it up and test it, see how it works. But so far, the gun's worked on just about everything that I plugged it into, which is fantastic. It works the same way on everything else that it does on everything else that I plugged it into too.
Have you tried it on recall backs yet?
On recall box, yeah. Wolfenhausen's image. He's got a Pi 4 32 gig recall box for the Pi 4. I tried it on that. Wolf's image was using Final Burn Alpha for a lot of the Lightgun games for arcade, and then they were using some MAME emulators for that. There wasn't an option for me to switch it around, and I didn't dive too deep into it. I just wanted to load the image up and check it out and see if it worked. It worked, but it would be easier to switch out all the games to MAME as opposed to using Final Burn Alpha with RetroArch. But basically it worked. It did work. It worked well. It worked just the same way that it did on the Pi 4 and all the other videos that I've showed working it on, everything that's not a PC.
Awesome. Now, which image was it? I think it was either Recall Box or Batacera. Someone said that there was a recent EEPROM update and it threw everything off. I can't remember. It was one of those front ends. I don't know if you guys have been following that or aware of it.
No,
Recall Box hasn't updated in quite a while, right?
Okay, it was one of them. It was either
I think it's Batacera.
Okay. Yes, they did an update recently. There was an EEPROM update, and there's been some concerns about it in the community. People are saying it's freezing up and it's not performing like it used to be. So they advise not to update.
That's weird because I was just messing with my Batacera image earlier and it was freezing on me. I'm on version 32. So I wonder if I scale back to version 31, if I won't find that issue. It just started freezing on me today. I was trying to load a couple MAME games for testing out on a new PC, a dual-core PC that I got, to see if it worked, and it was freezing up. I thought it was the computer, so maybe it's the image.
Yeah, it's probably the image overall. Thank you for... Did somebody just send a super chat? Oh, wow. Haven't seen it. Hard work pays off. Thanks for the builds and images. This is the dream team. Thank you.
Thank you.
34 free smooth. Yeah, we definitely, yeah, we appreciate it. You know, one of the things that I love to see is I look around the community to find out who's rolling up their sleeves and actually getting dirty. You know, because that is the heart of the community, the people actually doing the work. It's not somebody with a bunch of subscribers, and that's not to take away from anybody with a large following, but you'll find out a lot of people who really know their stuff, tinkerers and people who do testing to make all this stuff possible. Uh, you know, they don't have a big social media following, you know, because they're so busy tinkering and configuring all these things to work for the community.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah, so someone just said a recall box is updated. I just saw right now it's updated at 8.0 beta, and one of the features is light gun support, but for the Wemo and Dolphin bar. So that's interesting.
yeah, that's
Not
pretty good.
Well, if that has that, then the gun for IR and the AeLightgun will work on it too.
should be doable, right?
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
absolutely be doable.
Do you know who is that who commented? Do you know if Advanced Main 1.4 is working like it's supposed to on Recall Box? I saw that was listed as one of the emulators. Who is that who commented?
Wolf Factor?
No, I think the tank. Maybe he knows. I don't know if any of you guys are using Recall Box and use Advanced Main 1.4. Because I saw it and I'm not sure if that's being used for a lot of light gun games. But if it is, keep in mind the Sending light gun when it was originally going to release, it was pre-programmed to work with Advanced Main 1.4.
Aim-track gun
So
too, right?
yeah, and Main for all, and Advanced Main 1.4. So if those two emulators are working perfectly with Recall Box, then yeah, you can use your aim track gun with that too. I just don't have the time to really mess around with Recall Box. So that'll be good. If any of you guys want to comment later, keep me updated. Let me know if Advanced Main 1.4 and Main for all are working like they're supposed to. Then you can use your aim track gun because it's made to work with those specific emulators. All right, so moving on. So yeah, we definitely have Pistolero working. It is 50 gigabytes. Full image is 64 gigabytes. Has all the same features before. You know, nothing's really been added except the configs specifically for the AE light gun and the gun for IR. And of course, you can use a Dolphin bar with that. If you do try to use a send-in, you will have to set it up. All the borders and stuff are still there. I did update the software on it too. But you know, there's just so many variables with the sending light gun, man. I mean, I've really put a lot of time into figuring it out. In fact, even a couple of weeks ago, do you know I did a firmware update on the gun and I couldn't even use it. I had to find the new software on it because I don't know if it downgraded the firmware. It did something, but then I got the new software and then I think it's working again. But there's just so many different variables to make sure that you're getting 100% accuracy just to get it going.
So you downloaded the update and it broke your gun?
There were two updates. I downloaded one and it froze my gun. I couldn't do anything. It wouldn't even work on PC. And so I went through again, download the new software where it even lets you update the firmware where it says black, red, or blue. And that's how I got my gun working again. But if I just left it like that, then yeah, it was the same link I downloaded just a few days ago or the few days prior to that new update, and it totally just froze my gun. I couldn't use it.
That's not good.
That's not good at
No.
all. I'm sure
Well, it's
a
weird
lot of people ran into that if you ran into that.
well, it was weird because it was the same download link.
I know I ran into a couple issues with the software, the 1.6 software, where somebody would plug a gun in and gun 1 would be recognized, but when they plug in gun 2, the software was not recognizing the gun at all. And if they were switching around USB ports back front, making sure they weren't on the hub, and still no issue, or they still couldn't get any recognition from the gun, so they have to actually delete the software and then go back and re-download the software and then re-update all over again.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like Keyblade here is having the same concern. I have the same issue, Keo. One of my guns freezes. Is that on Pi or PC?
Educated guess that's PC, since the only one getting Pi to work is you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there's a few guys out there they got it on Pi. In
Oh,
fact, one
Pi.
of the
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah, there's a few
Okay.
guys out there they have it working on Pi.
Keyblade.
I know another gentleman who has it working on Pi. He even configured it for 4:3 ratio and 16:9. He said it took him a year to configure all the games for both.
Wow. There's no time for that. Nobody has time for that. Plug the gun in, do your configuration over your general configuration and your calibration, and play your games. Nobody has time to spend hours configuring. That's just, by the time you're done configuring, you're not even going to want to play. Because you're not. You're going to be so exhausted from configuring the gun, and you're going to be mentally exhausted from the headaches that you are running into when trying to get the gun to work, that you're not even going to want to play with the gun when you're done with it. You're not.
I can tell you, I spent so much time with it. I didn't even turn on my Pi for another 2 months.
See?
That's where I spent most of my time making my firework videos.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes you gotta take a break from certain things. I mean, I build so many arcades. I don't even play my arcade because I don't want to turn it on and play it because, sometimes I get sick of looking at arcades in my garage and I don't want to look at it in the basement. So I'll go and take a run on my computer instead.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, same here. I build so many guns. Like sometimes I just take a break and just do LED stuff because I haven't done that in a while.
Looks like I got a comment here from Successful. It says, Keo, can I email you? I have a concern about another YouTuber posting claims that Sendin isn't supporting pre-made images. Lizard, I know we were talking about that a few days ago. Was there some additional information about that? Successful, I'll message you later. But my email can be found on my YouTube channel.
My info for that came from the same exact video that he's talking about. So, and what also the Discord too. I've seen that in the Discord plenty of times. My initial first day ever in the Discord, where I went in there looking for Raspberry Pi help because I couldn't get it to work on the.
Oh, looks like we lost him.
It?
Yeah, looks like we lost him. So, yeah, he'll be back here in a few minutes. Yeah, but check my page. My email is there. If you go to the About section on my community tab on my YouTube page, and then also my social media, you can find my email address there. All right, what happened?
Sorry,
there we
guys.
go.
Sorry, guys. I got my phone kicked me out. I'm sorry. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Odd.
So my first day in the Discord, when I went in there looking for a Raspberry Pi 4 help, because the first thing I tried to set it up on was a Raspberry Pi 4. You can see, I posted a video to my YouTube page about the whole entire conversation. I wasn't getting anywhere, and they kept telling me to use basically a whole completely different image. So, which made me, and they told me that the Pi 4 setup was a complete mess. So, and that was Mr. Lightgun himself that said that to me. I saved the chat and I posted it to YouTube. So that other people can see that the Pi 4, that they don't support other Pi 4 images. They never made it public really until just recently. They talked about it in the Discord, but nobody else really made it public or told the world that they weren't going to support a pre-made image until a few months ago. It says it in my video, but I also took some of the information that was in that recent video that came out, and I talked about it in the video I posted last night. Right. So I don't really know much more information besides that. I'm not really welcomed in that Discord. So I know about as much as everybody else knows. I don't think it's very fair. I understand a point where a company does not want to support ROMs. I completely understand that. Totally understand that. I don't understand the point where they don't want to support their product to work with the product that they advertise it for. There's a big difference there.
Right.
Everybody uses a pre-made image. The pre-made image is made to work on a Pi 4. The gun is made to work on a Pi 4 or a Raspberry Pi in general. So they're two separate things. Just because somebody made a pre-made image and you have a light gun that works on the Raspberry Pi 4 that works with ROMs, it doesn't mean that you're supporting ROMs by helping your customers set up their software on that Raspberry Pi to work correctly. Everything else after the gun is up and running, everything else after that is on the owner of the Raspberry Pi and the gun to get it working correctly. Once everybody's having trouble with the software, a lot of people can't get the software update or up and running on the Pi 4. I couldn't even get the software up and running on the Pi 4. So, and that's where the support should really be coming in, is, you know, them supporting their software getting set up, because it's their software. It's not a third party like AimTrack. You know, it's not, there's no third party involved at all. It's their direct software that they create and they release to the public. And they're basically just like, nope, we're not going to help you with this. Use this image instead. And you'll get all the support that you need for this image, but we're not going to help you with this image.
Well,
And that image you have to put, but that image you have to put ROMs on. So, and people still go into their Discord and seek help for setting up ROMs in that Discord on that image, and they'll help them with it, but they won't help you with a different pre-made image that already has ROMs on it. Where does that make sense?
Well, that doesn't. If that's true, then, you know, that's really unfortunate, because
everybody can see it. You can go on the Discord right now and see it.
Yeah, because the way the gun is manufactured with the software, I don't know of any company or entity that releases software and doesn't provide some type of troubleshooting. The problem with this is that in order to get the software to work, it's in conjunction with ROMs and a BIOS. Whereas if you have a Gun 4IR or AeLightgun, it's all hardware. There's no software involved. So you'll always have troubleshooting. You always have some tweaking to get something working. It's not a 100% hardware-based issue. Now, like the Gun 4IR, the AeLightgun, and the Dolphin Bar, you could just pretty much drop it off at my doorstep, and then you're pretty much on your own and you're good to go. But when it comes to how the software interacts with, you know, different ROMs and stuff, then yeah, that is another issue. But and the tank says they don't support the official image either. The one they recommend is pre-made and modified, and that is correct. Anytime you're using WinSCP to modify a image, it is a pre-made image, whether it has a BIOS or ROMs on it or not. So.
Yeah, the whole thing's backwards. The whole thing's backwards. And you know what? That for Lightguns, that is the most active Discord too. There's constantly people in there every single day seeking help to help them get the gun set up. Every single day there's somebody in there. That is the most active Discord I've ever seen. And it's all about help. That's what it's for. When it's mostly Windows help. I've seen so many people go in there and talk about Windows stuff and Pi stuff too in general. Seeking help. And you go into other Discords and you just, you know, kind of sit there and look around and watch and read the thread. And it's mostly just BSing in those Discords. There's not a lot of hope seeking going on for other light guns. It's the send-in that needs the major help and that people are seeking major help for.
Yeah, the thing about that too is, you know, if you're not a image maker, the person who made the image, or the dev that made the base build, you're really not going to understand too much more or have access to how it truly works. I do know one thing though. The software was originally made for the stock RetroPie RetroArch version. So as you guys know, like the Supreme team, Supreme Ultra, and all the other Supreme images has a higher end version of RetroArch, which is also made or compatible with Vulkan drivers. It is not compatible with that whatsoever. And I talked to one of the devs about it. They're like, yeah, we use a higher end version. That's why it wasn't working. And so I'm not sure what Playbox uses as far as their RetroArch version. I think it might be similar to Ultra in certain ways, but I believe that's where the uh, lack of research was done, was to find out, you know, like again, like I was saying before, you can't just say, hey, something worked for Linux or RetroPie, when that's a very vague answer. And then of course you have different versions of RetroArch cores and main cores or emulator cores that'll work. So this was pretty much made for a defaulted stock version of RetroArch.
So what happens if RetroArch updates? Is the software then broken?
No, the software is not broken. So from my understanding and the word that I've heard through the grapevine, the guy who made RetroArch said the Gun 4IR was correctly done. He said that he had a hard time setting up the send-in gun, and he had to write his own script to get it to work. So
Jesus.
as far as I know, he said that the Gun 4IR had, you know, 2 thumbs up. They did it how they're supposed to. Now, Since the AE light gun is very similar to Gun 4, obviously I'm sure he would have the same opinion about the AE. He just doesn't, have one because it's a brand new gun. But
Right.
RetroArch is made for light guns. It's made for that specific interface. And so, based upon what he was saying, from what I heard through a third party, was that there were things done to it that didn't need to be done because RetroArch already supports light guns.
So a lot of people hate using RetroArch too on PC. I love using RetroArch on PC. I think it's one of the best emulators you can use for console on PC, along with light guns for console too. If you don't like seeing, if you use the send-in on PC with RetroArch, then you'll get the mouse cursor that shows up. If you add no mousey to the AHK file, the mouse is going to go away, and then you don't have to worry about seeing the mouse. And I believe it supports 2 players.
What supports 2 players?
RetroArch on PC.
Yeah, I believe it does. I believe that is correct.
Yeah, I'm not a RetroArch fan because I don't like layers on top of layers. I like one emulator and that's it. I don't want a layer, a core, and then a front end. Yeah, that's just me. But I script everything, so it's easier.
Right. Well, I don't use RetroArch with MAME on PC. I use regular MAME for PC. But for consoles, I just think the controls, it's going to stop you from setting up different controls for 10 different emulators or even 15 or 20, depending on what consoles you have. It's universal controls when you set it up once. And you might have to adjust here and there and do a little tweaks for maybe like N64 or Intellivision or Coleco. But for the majority of all console games, the controls are going to be universally set. So it's very easy to do when you have 15,000 games and 12 different console emulators you're working with. So you don't have
if you're doing more than just light guns, then it's easier with like an Xbox controller or something like that. If you don't have universal X input like I do, like everything I did is Xbox control only, so I don't use joy to key or anything like that. Then using standalone emulators is fine if you're using one standard of controls. But if you're mixing like PlayStation 4, Xbox, fight sticks, arcade encoders, iPads, keyboard encoders, then you kind of want a universal sorting system.
Yeah, it's really
convenient. You're going to want to use separate configs too.
Yeah, it's definitely really convenient. I mean, especially where you can have, I think especially for RetroPie, you definitely need an overall emulator to kind of control a lot of that stuff. It's very convenient and helpful. Let me go ahead and pull up something here.
Yeah, Emulation Station's fantastic on RetroPie. I love Emulation Station.
Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up something here.
What are you looking for, Keo? What are you doing?
I'm trying to find this link so I can start sharing it. Let's see here. Where is copy? Here, give me 1 second here. I'm trying to find this thing. I had on my computer earlier. I had surround view on because I was doing some stuff, and so let me see. Copy. No. That's not what I want to copy.
Actually, I'm kind of curious. On a 3-screen extended view, would there be any game that would actually support that wide stretching? That Lightgun game?
Yeah, I've done some. Rambo did.
Technoparrot Rambo?
Yeah, Technoparrot. Yeah, I stretched it out. Yeah.
You got a video of it.
Yeah, I have a video of it.
Apparently, there's like another Rambo that I'm not aware of. In one of the other groups, there's like a controller-based Rambo.
For it's a MAME version, and it's like a track.
No, it looks like a more advanced one, like really modern looking. Maybe it's called Rambo the video game from 2014.
Isn't that the Technoparrot one?
Is it Rambo the arcade?
No, it's Rambo in the in Technoparrot's a different one. Jesus, let me see what
is it
called.
Lightgun or is it arcade? Is it stick controlled?
Let's see. Okay, so Rambo for Techno Parrot is just called Sega's Rambo exclamation point. And then there's another one for PC called Rambo the video game, which is available on Steam. Which yeah, I don't know if it's actually a light gun supported game. Let me see.
That still could be fun. I mean, it's Rambo.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks really cool. Like graphics look nice. It looks like nicer than the arcade one. So
that's got to be a really updated version then.
Yeah, that's the old the one that Nevo is referencing. That is the old main one for GI Joe. I think everybody's familiar with that one.
You know what? I'm gonna post it right in the chat here, just so just to see if it's what everyone. It says Rambo the video game by Baker or something.
All right, guys. The first link is going out. I have two different download sites. The first one's going to be Google Drive. No, I take that back. The second one's going to be Google Drive. The first one I'm sending now is a Mega folder. So if you have a Mega Link account, you can go ahead and start downloading Return of the Pistolero.
Get it. And Sega Saturn works on the Return of the Pistolero. Yeah, did you try overclocking? Did you try overclocking Pistolero at all to see if that would help out with any emulation for the Saturn? Because the Saturn's a little laggy, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I did. Remember, that was still using a regular Pi 4. I mean, this was already uploaded anyway, so I'm not going to make any changes to it. But it's really not that. I mean, all the games are there, but it's not going to help. I mean, any much more. If you want to overclock it, fine. Yeah, you might be able to play Virtual Cop 2, like I did in the video that I posted today. But you know, I just added them there so that way, if there's another model comes out or whatever, people already have a scrape ROM set of light guns and stuff.
Right, and if you never know if the emulators get updated too, it's going to provide support for even more guns.
That is true. Yeah. Every now and then, you can download like a new MAME 2003 or a new emulator, and usually that will, you know, provide better performances. But a lot of it has nothing to do with overclocking. Most of it is done on having a better emulator.
Well, that's what happened with the Saturn games about 6 or 7 months ago. We weren't able to get the Saturn games working on that image. They worked, but there was no light gun support. And then we ran a couple updates, and then all of a sudden, Beetle Saturn, I think it was Beetle Saturn, that showed up on it, and that provided the light gun support. That was the only emulator for the Pi 4 for Saturn that was giving off the light gun support, and it worked. So yeah, I mean, emulators get updated. You know, if the emulator gets updated for other games on there too that aren't getting support of it, it's eventually going to work.
Right. And, you know, before we get too far off on another subject, I definitely want to say the reason why the majority of the RetroPie community uses pre-made images is because it has the best scripts. It has the best scripts. You don't need to SSH or do any of that stuff. There's video. I think there's a video framing issue or a glitch, like even with stock RetroPie, because it's a stock version. They don't add all the additional scripts to make things better. So, you know, in terms of like, you know, the send in Discord, if they didn't want to help people with pre-made images, you know, I just want to let you guys know that the majority of people use pre-made images because it has better scripts that help optimize the gaming experience. And so you will have a better list of working games on there. Like, for example, when I did the Vulkan drivers, I know that there's a very limited number of emulators that support Vulkan, but you get better playability for N64. You also have the video smoothing script. That's what it is. That's on Supreme Ultra. You're not going to find that on a stock RetroPie image. So imagine if you have games that barely run on another image, and yet an image that's pre-made has those additional scripts that for better optimization. Well, of course you're going to use that. You know, you're not going to just stay with something that gives you subpar performance. Konami, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no, I was just looking at that. The game is Konami version. It's a little bit different. It's not the 2008 arcade one. It's 2014. So yeah, different version. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. Seems interesting.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I do want to say,
just found yourself a new mission for the night. That's your new.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's your coffee for the night.
So I just want to say, since Gunfire was never officially, we never officially said that it's going to be supporting Pi to avoid this whole issue to begin with. I want to say a really big shout out to Keo and to Lizard for making this kind of image and making the effort for it, because I certainly didn't, that's for sure. And this is a really big bonus for the community, honestly. The debate about the images and everything aside, like, this is amazing work, guys. Like, I want to extend my appreciation for that. Just to have a new system, a new hardware that Gunfire R, AE, and any other, and I guess Wiimote too, can run on is a big boon for us.
Awesome.
I think that we want to thank you too for you doing what you do with your mods, and then JB creating that software for this gun and getting it out there. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't know about Gun for IR or have the Gun for IR. And it's because of you guys that technically it does work on this, but it was just an added bonus, like you guys said.
Yeah, so, it's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a great bonus.
Yeah. So as far as right now, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, again, currently I don't have a Gun for IR or AeLightguns. So if you guys ask me a question to possibly follow up with troubleshooting, you will have to go to Retrolizard's YouTube page and ask questions, because Ray doesn't have a Pi. He doesn't understand a lot about the Pi. Retrolizard will be your primary contact about this specific image. But if it is a RetroPie question, obviously I can answer it. But if you're asking specifically about a setup or how do you do this, Retrolizard will be your guy.
Yep, I did the configs, guys. I will happily give you all the support that you need to help get this up and running for those guns.
Yeah, and I would recommend, if anybody has questions or concerns, I think the easiest thing to do would be to schedule a time through the middle of the week, go live, and then address questions then and there, as opposed to trying to bounce in and out of all the different Facebook groups, answering individual questions. Like if you do something like on a Saturday night, Friday night, whatever you have time to address the majority of concerns in one simple setting.
Yeah, I think that's a fun idea too.
Yeah, and also too, I had somebody comment on, and I thought it was kind of funny. Someone commented on one of my videos and asked me, "Do I support my images?" I thought that was one of the somebody asked me, "Do I support my images?" Now I don't know if this individual was who downloaded Pistolero and was struggling to get Pistolero, but this individual said that they run a Discord and they take on a lot of questions for me. Now, I thank you for that time and effort, but just to let you guys all know, it doesn't make human sense for one particular individual to bounce in and out of all these different groups and all these different social media platforms. It's really taxing. And the makers of Supreme Ultra, different devs, biggest community out there, we have about 30,000 members in RetroPie Official. So if you guys have any questions regarding any of my videos or anything of that nature, make sure you go to Supreme Retro Gaming on Facebook, my personal Facebook group, Kiodiekin Gaming, Fireworks, PC, RC Hobbies, and also RetroPie Official. We applaud all efforts if you guys are starting up different groups and stuff like that. But if there's a concern where people are asking questions and they're not getting an answer, there's more than enough avenues to try to reach somebody who's familiar with this kind of stuff. Because what will happen is, let's say if a particular individual, anybody, starts up a different group and they start looking for support, well, then that starts straining the line of communication. You start having different avenues as opposed to having one nice forum where everybody can kind of see things. And then, of course, you're interacting with other knowledgeable guys as well. We are in other groups like Arcade 1-Up Modding and MAME Arcade Cabinet and stuff like that, but those are the 2 or 3 main groups. If you guys need questions where other people who are in the hobby, who had issues with either Pistolero, familiar with Supreme Ultra, other image makers, you'll get all your support there. So I hope that's easy for everybody, because honestly, I'm really not even on Discord. I mean, I'm there every now and then for Chrono Zen stuff, but other than that, I'm really not on Discord.
And I do want to say one thing, like Keo does this voluntarily. This is like a hobby for him. No one pays him, and these images are free. So I appreciate it so much, and for all reviews out there, who appreciate and enjoy the image, of course, check out his Patreon, check out his website, make a contribution to his work, because this is hours and hours and hours of somebody's time that they could be spending with their family, if they like their family, doing other hobbies, setting off fireworks, me selling karaoke's, and this is something he does for the community voluntarily. That seems to be a lot, taken for granted by some people who just ask randomly on the YouTube comments, say, hey, how come this doesn't work? Can you make this work? And just a whole bunch of requests. I'm like, guys, come on, be reasonable here. So I just want to say thank you again for that, Keo.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I think a lot of it really started to strain a lot of image makers or builders in the community, when they're putting it out for fun. And then you see other people trying to open up LLCs and trademarks off of somebody else's material. And, we're not talking about ROMs, because just to let you guys know, there are many scripts that are made on RetroPie that could be trademarked or copyrightable by the specific person or persons who wrote it. And a lot of those scripts, which help make RetroPie work or do what it needs to do, are more valuable than all the ROMs put together on these images. Like, for example, we got a price tag right now, 10 grand for that send in Lightgun script. Because that solves so many issues, and it has the auto start on, so that way you never have to turn the send in Lightgun on. That is more valuable than all the other ROMs that you guys see on a RetroPie image, because it solves one big problem.
I think 100K sounds better.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, there is the Google Drive link for those of you who have Google Drive if you guys want to download Pistolero. But yeah, I just think it's interesting because I've seen people out there just trying to open up LLCs and business plans and open up trademarks and stuff using other entities' names and just trying to make a name for themselves, and it's kind of sad.
By the way, just a quick technical question. I know Pi 4 is now at an 8 gigabyte RAM module, right?
Yeah.
So on your image, 8 gig, 4 gig, 2 gig. Is there any performance difference here?
I go with the 4 and the 8 gigabyte model.
The 4 and 8, right? Okay. Between 4 and 8, is there a big difference?
I go with the 4, the 8. I think right now both of them are performing the same because they have the same SOC code on there on the chip.
Right.
But I mean, $54 will get you the Pi 4 gigabyte model. It lacks support. I mean, it can start tapping into 8 gigabytes depending upon what the Raspberry Pi Foundation does in the future. But when you are using a 64-bit front end, there's difficulty seeing. I mean, yeah, ultimately the 8 gigabyte model would give you better performance, but a lot of the emulators and stuff just aren't seeing it right now.
Right. Okay. So they haven't started utilizing that extra 4 gigs yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, I don't know what direction the company's going to go in, even though they kind of mentioned Pi 5 a little bit, but who knows?
Right. I'm seeing it's like a $50 price difference right now, right? Like it's 55. So for anyone who's wondering, first timers, it's like $55 on Micro Center for a 4 gigabyte, and then an 8 gig.
Usually about 70 something bucks for the 8 gig.
I think that's actually a little bit hard to find right now, right?
Yeah, and that's just the Pi. That's not including like the HDMI. That's not including the power.
The power supplier, yeah. I saw like a kit on Amazon for like $150. So they're really trying to milk the chip shortage.
2 months ago, they were going for about $100. Best Buy had them for $100 for the kits, but lately I've been seeing them for like $125 to $150, like you just said too. It's crazy. You can buy a computer.
Yeah, you could buy like a low end old like a i5 3rd gen or 4th gen or probably 3rd gen PC for that price. Yeah. And
right.
take it from me, guys. I know I'm here as a representative for like Gun for IR and everything, but I also do a karaoke business, and that involves hard drives. Component costs are not going down. All right. So if you want to buy your PC, buy your Pi, is not going to get any better. All right. My shipping costs for my karaoke systems have doubled from October to November. And, I'm shipping from China. So you can imagine how much worse it's going to get when it comes to the holiday season. And there's going to be more and more shortages. The only, like insider secret, the only company that has priority shipping, high-speed shipping, we're not talking boat, okay? Because boat is too slow for today's society. We're talking DHL airplane shipping. It's Amazon. That's the only one that can skip the line everyone else's packages of your electronics, your memory cards, your hard drives, especially your hard drives, has to wait in line in a warehouse until the next plane goes out. And there's only so many planes going out. And God forbid another like COVID thing wave hits, those planes will be commandeered for vaccines. That takes priority over everything. So yeah, if you see a good deal on Amazon, snap it up. It's not gonna get better.
Awesome. So right now, I think we have about 17 people watching, and if we can get it up to about 30 here in the next minute, I'll let you guys in on a little secret.
Ooh, Keo's got a secret.
Yeah, I've been holding on to it for quite some time.
Uh oh.
Yep. It's not even something you guys know about.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I wasn't there.
You wasn't.
So if we can get this up to about 30 people right now, I'll let you guys in on the big secret.
Let the countdown begin.
You know, at first I was wondering why. I was wondering why Lizard didn't put up his webcam. You know, I have my cam up, and I have my I see Keo has his cam up, you know, on the side. It's because to use the bathroom in this type of situation is a very awkward. I've been holding it in for about 15 minutes right now, and I didn't dare to leave the camera.
Listen, if you want to look at my ugly face right now, I'm right here.
All right, so if we got 18. So if we can get this up to 30 people here in the next few minutes, I'll let you guys in on something.
All right, cool. I'm actually going to use the bathroom because I can't believe in no stream I've ever seen in my life has anyone taken a pee break. There's no.
I went twice already. Every time you see my mic mute, I went to the bathroom.
I knew it. Yeah, my alternatives are mute the mic or use this. Okay, this is my alternative right here. And JB was like, do it live on the stream. I'm like, no, we're gonna get banned from YouTube in like 10 seconds.
Just hit the mute button and then do it. That's all you gotta do. Nobody's gonna.
No, yeah, I gotta stop the camera.
All right, so where are we at right now? We're at 18 people right now.
18? We got to get up to 30?
Yeah, 18 people. We'll get up to 30. But maybe you guys aren't interested. Maybe I'll save it for another video. We'll see.
Good. I mean, you can't just say that you got a secret and not tell me the secret. I mean, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it does. It works like that. It's my stream. Well, if you guys want to go ahead and share this stream here for the next few minutes, then we'll see. Man. Hey, so how you been today? How's your day been?
My day was good. Work was easy. It's Friday. It's Shabbat. I had a glass of wine, and I'm happy to go. So, yeah. I logged into a person, helped him set up some games, and fix a couple games, and then get them going, do a little troubleshooting, and then I hopped on the stream with you. So, and I'm uploading some stuff right now to Mega so that I can share it to, so I can share it around a little bit. And then this Batacera image, it keeps freezing on me. I don't even know why. It's got to be the PC. Because if I plug it into my other PC, it's not freezing on me. So it's got to be the PC. So, yeah. What about you? How's your day?
Oh, it's been busy, man. Just answering phones and taking care of business as usual. Let's see here. You know, I was looking at one of Retrolizard's photos earlier today because he posted it. I was like, man, you look so much like a rapper back in the day. Like all he needed was a little street cred.
Like what? Like Eminem?
Yeah, like Eminem. I was like, man, he looks hardcore. All you needed was some gold chains and stuff.
Oh man, it must have been the chin strap I had. Way to be 22 again.
It's not a big. Back in my neighborhood, all the old like Taiwanese gangsters, you know what they do now? They're all personal bangers at Chase. Every single one of them. I swear to God.
Oh gosh.
Yo, they got so whooped after they got married. Actually, by the way, guys, just wondering, like, I know what Joel does for a living outside of this. Keo, what is your actual day job? Like, many people like don't realize we have day jobs, but we have other shit to do.
Oh, I'm just a financier. I'm just another guy out there.
That's it.
That's it. No, give me something. I don't even know what a financier is.
Yeah, you want to elaborate a little bit? What do you do, Keo? You're the mystery Keo.
Yeah, I just do banking and financing.
It's like so vague. That could be anywhere from like, you know, helping people organize their portfolio to like local, you know, drug boss.
That means Skill's playing the stock market all day. That's what it means. That's why he's in front of the PC. Goes to bed at 3 a.m. Wakes up at 7 a.m. Goes in front of the PC just in time for the bell to ring. He's good to go.
Definitely.
Yeah, when Joel told me what he did for like a living, I was like, holy crap! Well, like, I thought he was doing arcade full time.
No, yeah,
like,
that's just a side gig. That was a hobby. That just turned into a side gig. My friends and my buddy owns a retro game store and a retro toy store, and he actually turned it into an arcade recently. But he encouraged me 2 years ago to advertise for the mods. Because nobody around here was. Well, I mean, there was 99 Lives was up in the Falls, but he wasn't really doing too much local stuff. So and I didn't even know who he was until I like 2 months into the game. But he like strongly encouraged me for like a few weeks. He's like, "Did you advertise yet? Did you advertise yet?" Like, I'm telling you, it'll be a hit. And I finally threw it up on Marketplace as like an ad, like 2 weeks before COVID hit, and the lockdown hit, and I blew up within those 2 weeks. Like, I had like 5 or 6 customers, and I'm like, holy crap. And then they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And I'm like, it continued. Like, my whole summer that year in 2020 was every day in the garage, modding, doing graphics, the whole nine. It was crazy. I did 53 arcades between March and December of 2020. 53 one-ups. 53 one-ups. That's including modding and graphics. And even I got into computers at that point. Right. I taught myself computers. I taught myself, I'm self-taught basically when it came to the PC and like front ends. Right. Started off at Hyperspin, and I didn't like Hyperspin, so I moved over to Launchbox because it was a little bit more user-friendly. So, yep, I sure as hell am in the basement. This is my wife calls it the Virgin Bunker.
Oh.
Yep, I'm in the basement. This is my lab.
Are you in tornado country?
No, I am not. I'm in blizzard country. I'm in Buffalo.
Yikes.
Yeah. Actually, 2 days ago was I don't know if you guys ever heard of the wall of snow. 2 days ago, 6 years ago, was the wall of snow in Buffalo. I got 7 feet of snow in 24 hours.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, Google it, Buffalo wall of snow. It'll pop up. It was literally like the cloud was all the way down to the ground on the lake, and the lake effect just kicked in, and it just dumped snow on us. It was crazy. I never seen snow up to the top of my fence before. Like, and I shovel it because I didn't have a snowblower. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm in New York City, so we get like 1 foot max.
Yeah, we were stuck in the house for like 5 days.
Man, I'm glad I don't have that kind of weather. Like here, where I'm at is usually about 75. Anywhere between 75 and 90. So we always get that nice California air.
Yeah, Cali, you don't even know what snow is over there. I know people who have never seen snow once in their life.
Right.
Well, it snows in California. It snows in California. You got places like Big Bear and other places in the mountains and stuff. But that's the cool thing about California. You get everything here. You get desert, you get snow, you got the beaches, you got all the amusement parks, you got the best sports teams, you got the Lakers, Dodgers. All the amusement parks are here, as far as Disneyland, Magic Mountain, SeaWorld. Oh, you want to talk?
Hey, Buffalo Bills, #1.
We already said no politics this one, right? No politics and no sports politics.
Yeah, but you got everything here in California. So, I mean, I can't honestly think about another place to live other than maybe Florida.
Nobody wants to live in Florida.
Well, I mean, they got Disney World there and stuff, but yeah, I mean, the hurricanes.
Where people go to die. It's America's waiting ground.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
So I just wanted to add one more thing. When you deal with me or with Retrolizard, for products or guns or mods or whatever, you deal with us directly. You don't have to talk to a whole bunch of the customer service reps or anything. It's just us. It's our phone number. It's our email. It's direct. Yeah. And for Gunfire R, I did want to put a plug in. JB is always like on call as well. He's in Japan, so there is a significant time gap where he's on Saturday already. He's already the next day, probably around like I think it's JB. What time is it over there? Actually, I don't know the time gap. I think it's like
I think he left.
like 10 a.m.
No, 12 hours ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely ahead. But if you can't contact, if you need help or you want some advanced technical support, like doing feedback with serial commands and that, he's always at the Discord. He checks it every day, just like I check my email every day. And the Discord for Gunfire Art is very friendly. It's there to help you. And a lot of guys have done very crazy mods there. They have taken. I've seen anywhere from a gun on a stick, like a chopstick, because he didn't have the parts yet, to assault rifles, to Uzis just came out like 2 days ago. Some really, really nuts stuff. I thought I was going like to a level that they take it to another one. There's RGB LED lights add-ons. There's recoil solenoids, sliding solenoids, rumbles. It's really fun over there just to see what can be done with this project.
Is Gustav, is he still on the Gunfire Art project?
Yeah, he still builds stuff like every day. There's two Gustavs actually, which is what confused the hell out of me before. There's a Gustavo and Gustav. Both of them are really cool guys, and they're both like excellent, mod builders and modders. But they have full-time jobs too, and kids, I'm sure. But if you see Gustav's Wingburns, I can never get his last name right. His videos with his tabletop arcade, two Uzis. He made like a sliding Uzi recoil before. That was amazing. Yeah, that's actually one of the ones that got me inspired to start like making these things. Right next to one of my favorite YouTubers. If you guys haven't had a chance to check him out, Daniel Spies. He made like the world's most expensive arcade, and he made the first Jolt aim track mod, which really got me to try to make that mod myself. Took me quite a few tries, but the guy, he recently won a competition sponsored by Red Bull, which was to make the most intimidating fight stick. And he went all out. Like he's a former magician, like I am actually too. And his fight stick has lasers, smoke, keypad, the most high tech joystick for Tekken. It was insane. He spent probably like $1,000, actually euro, to build it and win that competition.
Hold on a second. The only thing I heard out of that was you're a former magician. What?
I was. Yeah, I did
you doing card tricks, or are you up on stage like Houdini?
No. I was a street magician. I was a performer for Toys R Us. I sold magic sets. I've been a salesperson for over 10 years now. But I've sold many things. I've sold magic tricks. I've sold Pokemon cards. I've sold cell phones. I've sold computers. I've sold fashion. I've moved literally from Magic Shop to T-Mobile to Bloomingdale's to my own business now. And now I sell karaoke systems and Gunfire for a living. This is my full-time job, guys. I don't have this is not my side. This is my everything. Like this is how this is how I pay for the apartment. This is how I feed my family, how I feed my fish. I have no kids, so I fish. That's about it. So when you call me, when you text me, you get a response in 12 hours or less. Guarantee you of that.
Oh, cool, man. That's nice.
Yeah, no waiting. You pay, you play.
That's it.
All right, guys.
What
is there
number
anything
are we up
else?
to right now? We're up to what, 16?
Yeah, it's 9:35 here on my end. So, is there anything we're going to add here in closing?
Thank you, everybody, for the support in the community. We do this for you. These images are made for you guys to enjoy them. That's it. The support's out there for everybody. I hope everybody enjoys this. If anybody needs anything from us or from myself, I'm around. You guys know where to find me in the groups. I'm always in the groups posting around. You can always find me on my YouTube channel too. So same thing with Ray, same thing with Keo. We're all here. We love you guys. We appreciate all the support that everybody gives. We just want to keep supporting the community.
Yep. Super shout out to Keo and Retrolizard just for getting an image working. Like that's still the most amazing thing to me right now.
Yeah, and let's clarify this again. This is for the Gunfire IR and the AeLightgun. They are both plug and play ready. I know there's a bunch of doubters and stuff out there, and honestly, I was hoping some of them would actually log in and say something. This is why I like to go live every now and then. Because
let's clarify too. It's not an official image. It's just compatible with that image.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, this is community driven. Okay.
Yes,
It's worth noting there's a
That's
time
it.
difference here, so a lot of people might not be on the same time zone to watch this. They might be working right now.
Yeah, so
thanks.
this is plug and play ready. You still need to do some basic configuration as far as your own personal settings. You set this up on what is it, 35 or 40-inch TV?
I set it up on a 43.
All right, so if you guys already have a 43, chances are you shouldn't have to adjust anything if you're using something maybe smaller or bigger. But you know,
I did start on a 19, but I moved over to my 43 just because I had more guns to set up on that, and it was a bigger screen. I like big screens. Playing on small screens to me sucks.
Yeah. So, again, you know, I was trying to encourage people to log in because we've been getting a lot of messages lately regarding images and stuff. But you know what's funny? They never log in when there's time to chat. I mean, we've been on now for about a good hour and 35 minutes. You know, where are those people that love to chat? I mean, maybe they're in the bed, whatever the case might be. But
those
you
are
know,
the DVR people where they watch it later. That's what it's going to be, and then we're going to get messages later on. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So again, if you have any questions regarding configuration or setup, the only person who's verified it right now is Retrolizard. So make sure you ask him about that. If you have any questions about the image, you can ask either one of us or predominantly me. But make sure you're subscribed or follow one of my affiliate groups, please. You know, don't try to go out there create some other group to offer tech support, and then you don't know what you're talking about or not familiar with it, and then you get inundated, and then you yourself need help. I've seen a number of groups try to rise up and do that, where individuals are trying to be the man, but they don't have the resources.
All right, guys.
All right, cheers. All right.
Pleasure. You guys are awesome, Keo, Ray. Love you guys. I'll talk to you in probably 3 minutes.
Alejandro, you're late. Shout out to you, but you're late.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Oh wow.
See you guys.
All
right, guys. You guys all have a good night. Kiodiekin, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this video too, and then of course also hit me up on Patreon or some of the other notable sites. And if you are into fireworks, I have another affiliate YouTube channel called Kiodiekin. So with that being said, you guys all have a good night, and we'll catch you guys next time.